is crazy tonight, la 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 la. Mercato is crazy tonight, la 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 la.
Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel. Special live because we have special announcement. Attenzione for all the people that were thinking that Mercato was totally dead. For all the people that know the culture of Italy, where on the 15th it's a really important bank holiday because it's Ferragosto, and no way that there is an Italian on earth that even thinks about working. Well, it seems like Damien Comolli is still French and not yet 100% Italian. For what reason? Because he's working and he's accelerating on the 14th. If some Italian furbi, the one that are sneaky, are already taking a bit of hours off on the 14th of August to prepare the beach day on the 15th, well, there is our friend Nico González that could possibly open talks to go to Atlético Madrid. This is what Damien Comolli is working on. We have a few things to speak about in today's video. Nico González to Atlético Madrid. We have KOLO MUANI close to Juve. We have a possibility of a swap with Molina, but this is not really what I heard today. What about Sancho? Is he close to Juve, yes or no? What is my opinion about Douglas Luiz staying at Juve, yes or no, after the performance of yesterday, after his first goal as a Juventino, even if it's not an official goal? Well, we have a few things on the plan today. I will not keep it long. So for the people that are watching, don't expect 1 hour plus live. It's a boom Mercato live where we go with the biggest one to give you a bit of clarification, to speak also with you about Mercato, about Juve, and then we come back this evening when things will accelerate a bit more. Let me say hello to all the people that joined this afternoon. Also some people that do not have always the opportunity because we are going live extremely late, like Shatterstar, 14 months, a lot of support from Shatterstar, even if he's not always able to join us for the late night evening lives, but he's there. Where is my coffee? Beppe is going live. If my wife is listening to me and she wants to make me a petit café, I would not say no, but I'm not sure, because she's pissed off. She just finished work, and if she has to do a coffee for me, she will be pissed off, but you never know. Who doesn't try will never have anything in life. Bonjour, Ali Fahad, that decided to become a new member of the channel right now as we speak, because he feels that there is an acceleration of the Mercato. I told you my prediction, KOLO MUANI, with 2 other players that could join, possibly Juve, and a few people that could possibly leave. Ali is also I understood the mechanism. So Ali was already a member for 27 months, but he decided to upgrade the membership, if I am not wrong. Renewing as always, Beppone, grazie Ali, 27 months. And then the first donation of the day. It's not even 4 p.m. here in Belgium. Mr. AMF 991, Beppe, I would rather keep Dougie over Cope. What do you think? Well, that's one of the big topics of today's video, so remain with us. You want to start with that before at Atlético Madrid, Nico González? We can start with that because we have a beautiful asset and they have priority, even if we keep an eye to all the members in the chat, to all the people who are just subscribers in the chat, of course. We are at the moment, as we speak, attenzione, 39,240. You know it, the objective is 40,000 K as soon as possible. How does it work? Well, it depends on you. Putting a maximum of likes during the live, watching the videos, sharing the channel with all the Juventini of the world. This is what you have to do if you appreciate my ugly face. And we go with the answer to Mr. AMF991. Look, I will be extremely unpopular with that one. Extremely unpopular. I will go against all what I've read about Juventini, and I will explain you, of course. Buongiorno Nino Sport in the chat. Amico mio, I still need to send you that picture in high quality, which I will do hopefully later after the live. So, okay, Douglas Luiz. Douglas Luiz is a player that, you know it, I was extremely enthusiastic to welcome at Juve. I really wanted him. He arrived. I celebrated him with the Brazilian dance. If you remember that Here We Fly video for Doogie Doogie. I believed in him. I supported him. I gave him time also because I was totally convinced about the qualities of the player. It's one of the players that at the end of the season, when I made a bit that recap of the players, my thoughts, even without doing an official video about it, I said I would have loved to call him, to label him as a flop from the performances on the field, but I cannot do it because we never saw him. Of course, when you don't see an entire season a player, and it's not because of a full-time injury like, for example, Cabal or Bremer, well, you cannot really call him a flop on the sporting side. But when you don't see him, it's a flop because you spent a lot of money on the player, it didn't come. Now, in the Club World Cup, for the minutes that we saw him, if I'm not wrong, against Al Ali, for the minutes that we saw him in Dortmund, for the 45 minutes yesterday against the under-23 team, let's also remind these two people, well, he's starting to show that I was right in terms of the quality of the player, because these don't go away. You cannot become a flop after doing well with Girona, after doing well for a few seasons with Aston Villa in Premier League, scoring 11 goals, assisting 11 times. It cannot disappear from one day to another. You can have some difficulties, you can have problems to show it in another club, in another environment, under a certain coach, in a way of playing, in a culture, all of that, yes, but it doesn't disappear. If you have the qualities, you have them, or you don't have them and you don't have them. So that's what I really believe. On the other side, I will go against everyone that is now saying he needs to stay, he needs to stay, he needs to stay, for a simple tactical reason. From what we see now, we have some flashes, some promises of a Douglas Luiz, but consider also the teams that we saw. Al Ahly, uno. The level of Al Ahly, with all the respect, is not Real Madrid, it's not Manchester City, it's not the Paris Saint-Germain. It's Al Ahly. A few minutes against Dortmund, that is already a higher test, and then yesterday against our under-23, that was more a family game than something else. The qualities are there, you see them, but are we sure that he will maintain these promises, these flashes of Douglas Luiz for the entire season? At the moment, we don't know. We can hope, we can pray, we can think, but we have no certainty at the moment, uno. But the most important one is a tactical one. Where is he playing well? Where is he giving the best? According to Tudor, where we are seeing him at the moment, is as a vice. Kenan Yildiz is there, more offensively, closer to the goal. It's not a coincidence that yesterday he scored that goal. Closer there to the goal. He could be the vice Kenan Yildiz, he could be the vice Conceição, but I will tell you, a player that you bought for 50 million, I don't know, Barrenechea, Hiding Jr., a player that you bought that much and that should have been the one that would have increased you the level of your midfield, that was the starter of this Juventus, Douglas Luiz, plus 10 other players when you are making the lineups. It cannot be the one that you have in your team hoping that he will do well in a vice role, because this is not why we signed Dougie. I'm afraid that in that vice role with Kenan Yildiz, that is 20, so he could play in theory every single game. Having the Douglas Luiz hoping that he will do well in that new role, having him just there waiting, being patient for possibly entering in a season that will not be friendly, where you can do the entire team changes after 45 minutes, I think it's a risk, because if he doesn't do well, if he doesn't have the necessary playing time, etc., and he flops, you never will be able to sell him again. Today he has some market, some interest in Premier League, Nottingham, Everton, Wolverhampton, etc. Manchester United sometimes is linked to him. So today he has some mercato, especially the flashes that he showed. I'm sure that he will still have some clubs that will knock on the door. But I'm really afraid that having a Douglas Luiz as a vice Kenan Yildiz in that role could potentially be not what we need, because he was a number one player and not a vice player. These are my thoughts on Douglas Luiz. Then I tell you, if we keep Douglas Luiz and Tudor finds the way to let him play, maybe in a 4-3-2-1, could be, even if you lack a bit, you miss a bit defensively and balance probably. But if you are able to find a way to let him play with having playing time, I would be the first one happy, because there is one thing that is extremely objective, is that the player is from another level, from a technical point of view, from a sport point of view. You see him, he's going towards the ball, he's asking to his teammates, give me the ball, don't stress, I'm here, don't worry, I will take care of it. I will take that dirty ball and I will make it clean. That assist yesterday for Dusan Vlahovic was beautiful. The way that he's playing, the vision of play of Douglas Luiz is a higher level. So I would be extremely happy if he stays, if we are able to find him a spot on the field. Because I want Douglas Luiz to be a protagonist of Juve and not one that is on the bench, just to be there on the bench. No, that's my point of view. Then if you're telling me over Koopmeiners, well, Koopmeiners has a different role, has different characteristics, and especially has absolutely, at the moment, no offers. And that's the reality. Then if you tell me, Beppe, we keep Douglas Luiz, we put him as a midfielder, and Koopmeiners finds a team to leave and we are able to cash in from the expenses that we had, more or less 58 million euro, I tell you at the moment, maybe that's even the best thing, because we see some signs of awakening from the Brazilian one. At the moment, we didn't see them from the Dutch one. Because yesterday, again, he didn't do any mistake, Cope, but again, a bit shy on the field. A lot of time I was not able to mention him during the watch-along, because more he's hiding than being a protagonist. So that's the reality. So that's my answer to our friend Mr. Amf. I hope it's a complete one. Let me know what you think about that one. So in terms of O'Reilly, that is indeed a name for Juve. Matt O'Reilly, it's a player that could potentially be the Douglas Luiz. Could potentially be a Douglas Luiz. But it's a player that you probably sign as a player that is not the number one on the field. He could potentially replace a Thuram, could potentially play next to Thuram, could potentially play also a bit more offensively. So it would make more sense if you can cash in from Douglas Luiz and going for a Matt O'Reilly. But I tell you that I have my doubts about Matt O'Reilly. The one that I remember that I was able to watch and follow and study is the one from Celtic, not the one from Brighton in Premier League, because in Premier League he didn't do that well. That's my opinion about Matt O'Reilly. It's a player with quality, no doubt about that, but the player where today, I'm sorry, I would not tell you that it's a player that guarantee will do well in Italy, also because it's a player that is suffering under pressure, is not able to reach an intensity higher level, something that Tudor is requesting from Juventus 25-26. It's not an intensity player, Matt O'Reilly, and these are my doubts about that. I see that Momo is agreeing with me about the Douglas Luiz story. With Luiz, we need to change formation. I agree more on that one. Tariq, grande Tariq, we can't have another Arthur. We need to play him, either reintegrate and improve his value. I agree. No way we don't get an offer for Dougie in the last week of Mercato. Problem is time to find a replacement. Well, the replacements' name are there, but they are a bit contradictory, because we have Matt O'Reilly on a way, and then we have on the other way names like Bissouma or Kessié. Bissouma and Kessié, don't forget, extracomunitario, so non-EU player. You have a possibility to go with only one. So if you take a Kessié, if you take Bissouma, forget about having, for example, a Molina, Argentinian player that is playing with Atletico Madrid, and we go towards Atletico Madrid in a second. That's what I want to say, to pay attention. But they are totally diverse players. You cannot even compare. You cannot even put them in the same sentence. I don't even think that you can put them in the same group of midfielder, because one is carrying the ball, one is seeing the penetration passes, one is seeing football, Matt O'Reilly. The other ones are there to break the game, to recuperate the game, because they love having the ball for an instant, taking them from a player and giving them immediately so that someone else will take care of it. So total different players. No. They are different players. They are different players. I never said that they are the same players. I said that it would make more sense if Douglas Luiz goes to go for O'Reilly more than if Douglas Luiz leaves to go for a Bissouma, because you have the same family of players, different players, but the family of players. Ciao, foot facts that just joined Grande. So this was about the complete answer about Dougie, Cope Manners, Matt O'Reilly. Then if you tell me that we are able to answer the question of Serraz, if you tell me that we are able to find a spot for Douglas Luiz, I would keep Douglas Luiz over going for a player like O'Reilly. If Douglas Luiz, we are not able to guarantee him a starting spot at Juve, probably Matt O'Reilly could potentially be a player that enters that discussion. Now, speaking about Nico Gonzalez, that's why I went actually live, because I was about to record the video. I was already late. But speaking about Nico Gonzalez, the tweet that arises from Fabrizio Romano, they saying exclusive, Atletico Madrid open talks to sign Nico Gonzalez from Juventus. Discussion started over potential deal and could be permanent move. Initial talks ongoing. So they are not speaking about a loan in first instance, but they are speaking about a permanent move. It could unlock Juve for a new winger. Attenzione, because at the moment, who do we have? On that side, we have Joao Mario. Let's continue with the 3-4-2-1. Joao Mario. And who is the replacement of Joao Mario? We watch it, we saw it. It's Nico Gonzalez. That is not playing that much in his initial role of being a right winger, left winger. So, is it real news? No, it's not his real role, sorry. I saw the tweet of Dino that was saying, pay attention, Beppe, because there are potentially some news about Miretti that I need to pay attention for. So, attenzione. I didn't see the news. Let me check. Apparently, people are already telling me 20 days out, but I cannot confirm because I didn't read anything official from Juve. Maybe it's coming from a journalist. I don't know. Who is actually the source of the tweet? Lesione muscolare di basso grado del muscolo. No, they didn't say 20 days, guys. In Italian, that's not what they say. You tagged me? Marco Baridonna is extremely well informed about Juve stuff. So just to make sure, because some people here are already giving some prediction about 20 days. This is not what is written. From Marco Baridoni saying Fabio Miretti low-grade muscle injury of the right thigh. New checks will be carried out in 10-15 days to precisely determine the recovery time. So for people that wrote a bit earlier, 20 days out, this is not what is written. In 10-15 days, there will be new tests, new exams for Fabio Miretti to understand the condition of Fabione Miretti. And then we will know if it will be just a few days more. Usually, guys, if it's 10-15 days, and he's back, then they tell us. Then you don't need new tests. The test of today would be enough. We have the official communication of Juve that just arrived. So let me read you. Maybe we have it also in English. No, we don't have it in English yet. So we go to the Italian one. Esatto. Nuovi controlli verranno effettuati tra 10-15 giorni. So new test will be done in 10-15 days. So for 2 weeks it will be out to actually rest. And then that's the moment where they will do new test. In the new test, they can tell us, okay, next week he can come back. They can say he can start training again but not playing yet with high intensity. Or they can tell us he needs much longer before coming back. Which is really a problem. Some people are saying perfect, he won't get sold. For me, it's never perfect. It's never perfect, especially for a player that in a lot of time in some season for a reason or another was not able to do the full preseason. One time because he came back from under 21 with Italy. One time for a small injury. One time for the shoulder. One time for this. One time for that. It's a player that needs that full preseason. And we saw always a start of season of Miretti that was not 100% convincing. So injury stops are not good. Then if he was not in the plans of Juve, then you need to let him go. If he was not really in the plans of Juve, you need to let him go. If he's in the plan of Juve, then it's a pity that he went injured. Having a player, keeping a player because he was injured, is never really something great, or at least far from perfect. Because it blocks you with your other ideas of mercato. If you want 20 for him or 18 for him and that money is not coming, you don't count on the player, could potentially be a problem. Then if you tell me, no, Beppe, it was a player that we were counting on, great, fantastic, but then I would have loved that he didn't get injured. But Miretti is a fragile guy, yeah? Yeah, I agree this time with Kirill. He's a bit a delicate flower, especially in the beginning of the season. Even if he gained a lot of mass, a lot of muscles, it's a transformed boy from a physical point of view. Is not yet perfect. Okay, now speaking about Nico González, that's the initial tweet that we were speaking about. What are they telling us? Not only Fabrizio Romano, but also all the other ones. They are telling us that indeed there are some talks. So the talks didn't start today, just to be precise, didn't start today. There is not yet an official offer from Atlético Madrid, but if we can already see and can report that they are even thinking about a permanent deal for Nico González, Atlético Madrid, that is actually signing one player after the other. Looks like they have clear ideas. It means that they believe in the player. The player, we always said that it's a player that wants to go to the World Cup 2026. He doesn't want to miss that. Playing as a right wing back at Juve, being also the rotational player, the sub player from João Mario, would not have pleased him a lot, because he could really risk to not go to the World Cup, especially with a growing talent a la Matthias Soulé, that is playing his cards to be actually the one that goes there. He wants to play in a club that is still in the eyes of the national team coach of Argentina, and Atlético Madrid could potentially offer him that, a club that is playing in multiple competitions, a club that can potentially go. Now, I would agree, a player that didn't perform the first year. We saw him in the preseason. It was not the best Nico González. We understand that, we know that. But on the other side, Nico González, that if he leaves, we have another problem again on the right side of the field. Because if we are looking at how Tudor lined up the players, we have a 3-4-2-1 with João Mario as a starter, Nico González as the sub, and who is the third player there is Weston McKennie. I hope that if Nico González leaves, it's not Weston McKennie that we will see there as a sub of João Mario, because this is not the role of Weston McKennie. Like, it's actually not really the role of Nico González. A bit better, even if really you need to have him as a wing back, I prefer to have him on the left, because then he can play with his strong foot, because that's one of the problems. He's playing with his left foot as a right wing back that can actually create some problems. If you are understanding tactically, that's a problem, because you are carrying the ball with your left, that is actually the inside of the field, and can expose you really fast. So how much? Good question from Mister. Today you are on fire, Mister. What are the requesting price? From what we heard, 30 million is what Comoli is expecting. Could we potentially go for Molina? It could be that Nico González goes away. We take a Molina that could potentially be a natural player as a right wing back. So Nico González, that is not a real right wing back. You swap him. We win. We win with money. So money this time for Juve, not for Atlético Madrid. Should be like that. Would make sense from a role point of view. You take a natural right wing back instead of one that is a right winger that is playing in that role. Would make sense. But I am not 100% convinced about the latest year of Molina, a player that is not playing at all at Atlético Madrid. Now, a player that is not in the plans of Simeone, a player that from the moment that he went away from Italy, Udinese, went in una discesa pazzesca. He went in a downhill. So it's not the Molina that we wanted 3 years or 4 years ago. So forget about that. Molina is not that player anymore at today. If you are going to the forums and listen a bit of what the Atletico Madrid fans are thinking about him, you will see that they agree kind of with me and with Simeone. Unfortunately, he never really showed something in that big club, except of a few months in the beginning of his journey. So Molina, I would not be. And on top of that, don't forget that Molina is a player that is non-European, which means that if you go for Molina, forget about a Bissouma, forget about a Kessié, forget about whatever player that is non-EU, except of Sancho, that on top of the non-EU, you have one slot for an English player. So I would not 100% go for that Molina. Then if you tell me we are that confident about Joao Mario today, that he's the real starter, and we believe in this and this and this, and we were looking for a second player, could be Molina, yeah, but I would not look if he comes. I understand the logic. It would not even be a stupid move. But I would not jump in the air and telling you, wow, I am super excited, like I would have been probably, and probably also wrong, when he came from Udinese. De Paul is not at Atletico Madrid, Crepi. He went to Inter Miami to play with Messi, Busquets, and all the other ones. So, but what does it mean? Nico González going there. That Juventus is already on another player. And that could possibly unlock the mercato. Nico González to Atletico Madrid could happen, could seriously happen. From inside information, I can tell you, from inside information, the name of Nico González is already in the mind of Simeone since more or less 1 month. That's what I can tell you. Inside information. So, a player that is already in the mind of Simeone. That doesn't mean that guaranteed he will be an Atletico Madrid player, but coach likes him. He is open to go there, like we read. What about Sancho? Does that mean Nico González out, Sancho in? No, it doesn't mean necessarily Sancho in, because Juventus was a bit more cold in the latest weeks on Sancho. And Roma is, for the first time, starting to contact now also officially Manchester United after having clarified the will of going also for the English player. They now start the talks, official talks with Manchester United to ask for information. Manchester United that, of course, wants the player to leave. Now, will he be able to leave under certain conditions? Depends also about how much competition you will have for the player. So I would not make the math at today. Nico González out, Sancho in. I would not do that at today. Questions, opinions. Nico González. Is it an acceleration? Because then we need to speak about Kolo Muani. Are you happy? Not happy? You want him? You don't want him?
Contatti proprio per il francese, mi hanno detto, vedremo se potranno essere...
Attenzione! Show me the money!
Dietro a David, e penso anche a Kolo Muani, perché oggi ci saranno dei nuovi contatti proprio.
Yeah, I was watching actually my own video. Sorry, guys. I was watching my own video of earlier today live in Italian with Dario Pellegrini. And today he told me, Beppe, today is a day where there will be new contacts with Kolo Muani. And indeed, a few hours later, we started to see a lot of journalists going with Kolo Muani new talks today with Juve. Then there is an entire article made by Gianluca Di Marzio about Kolo Muani, where I have some difficulties, guys, to understand, because Anthony Schifano is already anticipating what I wanted to read. Juventus closer, the return of Kolo Muani, acceleration in these hours. Juventus is closer to Kolo Muani. the Frenchman could arrive even without someone leaving. Kolo Muani is closer to Juve. There were positive contacts in the latest hours between the Bianconeri and Paris Saint-Germain for the return of Kolo Muani at Juve. Comoli and Modesto, they decided to accelerate for the striker. That was already a Bianconero. Whatever happens with Dusan Vlahovic, selling or not selling, staying or not staying, indeed, Saraz, I need to pay attention. The deal would be a loan with an obligation to buy under certain conditions, with Paris Saint-Germain that requested 65 million euro in total. Juventus, they go ahead to find the agreement with the hope that they go extremely fast. Now, of course, 65 million euro. You know how much I am a fan of Kolo Muani. You know how much I wanted him and nobody else. Even when we were speaking about Osimhen, even when we were speaking about Gyökeres, etc., I told you the man that needs to stay at Juve, according to me, more than anybody else, is Kolo Muani, 65 million euro. I hope that Di Marzio is today at the beach and that the sun is hitting hard, because ragazzi, with all the respect, 65 million euro is out of this world exaggeration, because if I am not wrong, pay attention because I could be wrong, but we already paid some money for Kolo Muani. I think that all in all we paid like 10 already, the loan with the extension of the loan for the Club World Cup with part of the salary covered. I think that 10 million went already out. Then if Gianluca Di Marzio is telling us, Beppe, which he will not do because he doesn't know who I am, but if Gianluca Di Marzio would tell me, Beppe, no, actually the 65 is including the 10 that were already spent by Juve, then we go to actually what we say from the beginning of the transfer market, that Paris Saint-Germain is asking for 55. That would make sense then, because you already paid, you paid, guys. In total, if you're looking at adding up what was already paid, then I understand. Would be even logic, because since the beginning of the Mercato, we said that Paris Saint-Germain, they want 50. With Juve that wanted to go, at a certain moment, the highest offer that Juve wanted to make was 10 million euro immediately for the new loan of Kolo Muani, plus 35, I think. Arriving at the 45 million euro. Of course, the 45 million euro, if you are adding up 10 that were already paid, you arrive at the 55. 65 apparently is what Paris Saint-Germain is asking, including the other one. So there is a small distance that the clubs are negotiating at the moment. Maybe we could really close at 10 plus 40. 10 plus 40. 10 for the loan plus 40 as an obligation to buy under certain conditions. What does that mean? I don't believe in the 65 from now on. I don't believe. I tell you immediately, if it's on top of what we already paid 65, forget about the player. Okay? How much I love Kolo Muani, I would not do it. But 10 plus 40 for Kolo Muani. What is the message that I receive is this is the offer to actually close the deal, that he's not a sub of Jonathan David. That probably they will alternate between Jonathan David and Kolo Muani in playing one of the players that is playing a bit more lower. So sometimes Jonathan David can play as a number 9, sometimes it will be Kolo Muani, sometimes it will be Kolo Muani that plays as a number 9, and sometimes it will be Jonathan David a bit more below. They will alternate in the game, because both of them can do two roles with a Kenan Yildiz as a support. We could potentially go towards a 4-3-1-2 or a 3-4-1-2 with Kenan Yildiz that is really central there, or you can play with a 4-2-3-1, 3-4-1 4-2-1 with Kolo Muani and with or Conceição, Yildiz, Kolo Muani, Conceição, Yildiz, Jonathan David. We can do a lot of options there. Maybe I will show you what I have in mind thanks to our tactical pad. I paid $65 for the license. Thank you, because part of it has been sponsored by our friend LJJ. But we are back with a tactical pad, which makes me extremely happy. I will show you a bit what I want to tell you. Up. So, open project. Bam bam. Okay. Let's go with a full field. Okay, full field. We take away the next gens of yesterday. Okay. At the moment, we don't need the defenders. Okay, so how you could possibly play is what we saw as starting lineup. Yildiz, Jonathan David, Conceição is one thing, and that's one. Then we could possibly see, of course, the easy thing, Yildiz, Conceição, Kolo Muani. That's what we can see. We could potentially also see Jonathan David. That is easy. We saw it also. Can easily... Why? Okay, we could possibly also see Jonathan David, because he has really that link up. He can really do that link up with the team here behind. We saw that's one of his characteristics with Kolo Muani up front. We could possibly see this. Easy. Kolo Muani, because that's already something that he already did. So we can see possibly this. So these players can alternate with Yildiz, a starter on the left, with Conceição, a starter on the right. We can do that. We can have Conceição here. What we can potentially also see is this. We could possibly also see this, which is a different way of playing with two strikers. And then you go with a at the moment, and let's do it like that. I put Conceição here. That could be a revolution at Juve. We could... For now, I mean, up, 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 up. That could be another option. 3-4-1-2 could be an option, guys. Could be an option. Speaking about the way, or you can do again up Kolo Muani, that can play there with Jonathan David there. You can play it like that, and at the end, who do you have up front? You have a Kenan Yildiz, you have a Kolo Muani, you have a Jonathan David, you have a Conceição. If you are looking at the moment, who else you have as players? You have who can play in that position? We have a Miretti that can join there. These kind of players. So you have at the moment Douglas Luiz, even if I think he will be sold at the end. You have potentially also a Coop Manners. So you have some changes. You have an Adzic as well that I think will go at the end on loan. But you have a lot of players for the behind the striker role. So behind the strikers, you could possibly have some solutions. Having a Kolo Muani there, that means that you don't necessarily need to go for a Sancho. If Douglas Luiz is sold, And if Koopmeiners is really here a midfielder and Adzic is on loan, you still have 5 players that could potentially play there. You have 5 players that can alternate in this position with, of course, only 2 players there as strikers. So, and then where do you need? Of course, you need here. Because I hope we will not see McKennie as the sub of Joao Mario for entire season. That's the tactical pad. Kolo as lone striker and 3 behind him. You could go towards this. Wait, Kolo lone striker with a possibly. You could see something like that. Cambiaso a bit more in the back. Let's try, Kalulu, Bremer. You can even do like this in that case. Where is Gattone? You could possibly go towards that lineup. There is something that is annoying me since earlier on. This that I fixed now. Okay. So you could possibly see this. But if you do that, of course, you will need... you're really lacking in subs. That's one of the problems. You're really lacking in subs. So then there are people that are saying, Beppe, I disagree in signing Kolo Muani because the price is too high. I hear you, but I don't believe it's 65 on top of what we already paid. That's something I already told you. No, if this is the price, even if I'm a big fan of Kolo Muani, I would say you no. Masoud, but then you need to rewatch the entire live because I'm about to close in a few minutes. Except if there is a bomba that is arriving now, but I believe that the bomba, we went through it. We spoke about Kolo Muani, we spoke about Nico Gonzalez, we spoke about Douglas Luiz, we spoke about Miretti. Instead of a video, I went with boom, 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 boom. Now I'm checking if we have something new. Attenzione! Straordinaria storia di un futuro passato. Che bello. Grazie. Grazie per averci raggiunti sul canale. 39,346 people that are following GJustjuve and Juventus every single day. You are fantastic. I need to stop with work. No, I'm joking. Don't stop your work for the lives. Cheap, left-footed, and experienced. Laporte is a good choice. Even if, attenzione, because I have another news, the name of Chabot is still in the books of Juve. You remember Chabot? Defender from Germany. If we really go towards... You want to go towards the tactical path 4-3-3? But first team, second team, players and their subs. Let's go. Let's try to do it. Wait, I need to change here because we are not with the next gen, but I will change it and ask the away team so that we have... Okay. So if we go towards a 4-3-3, Thuram, Locatelli, and... a Cope as a starter. Then up front, Kolo Muani is not there yet. We will put him a bit later, maybe. Let's see. Jonathan David, Yildiz, and Conceição. That should be the first team. Okay. Attenzione! 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 I said it, huh? I leave except if something bomba is arriving. Attenzione! But that's Mercato. Mercato is crazy. I told you that Damien Comoli has absolutely no idea that tomorrow nobody is working in Italy. He continues to work. Boom, 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 boom. Vas-y, Damien. On est tous avec toi. Dai, Damien. Dai, Damien. Dai, Damien. Attenzione. I see some people, Andre Merrill, that went totally crazy. Why? Because Gianluca Di Marcio is telling us NFFC, that is not the NPC, is in contact with Juve for Douglas Luiz. Attenzione, Juve contacts with Nottingham Forest for the sale of Douglas Luiz. But guys, if you are a bit clever, what did we say today? Guys, I went totally unpopular. When the entire Juve fan base went on, hey, let's go with Douglas Luiz, after a year of criticism, I said no. No. For what reason, guys? For what reason? There is always a reason. And the reason is here. Let me pay attention, because here they will again block me. So, Juve contacts with Nottingham Forest for the sale of Douglas Luiz. Contacts between Juve and Nottingham Forest for the sale of Douglas Luiz. Juve is moving on the calciomercato. Mamma mia, what a sight. After the sales of Timothy Weah to Marseille, but also Bangula, that is not seen here, to Werder Bremen. Also, Douglas Luiz could leave Torino. The midfielder is in the target of Nottingham Forest contacts between the two clubs for the transfer of the midfielder. Douglas Luiz arrived last season with the Bianconeri, that found an agreement with Aston Villa with a maxi change involving also Enzo Barrenechea and Samuel Emiling Jr. The Brazilian national team player, however, didn't find the physical form that he wanted to convince Thiago Motta first, and where is the rest? Igor Tudor later. There is no rest. There is no. We don't know. We knew that Nottingham Forest was on the player. That's something that we already knew. So no mystery on that. But it's true that they were a bit more distance. Maybe the latest performance of Dougie, they really gave them that conviction of hey, attenzione ragazzi, we could and we should probably accelerate now, because we are going towards the end of the mercato. Nottingham Forest that is starting also the season now. Attenzione! Nottingham Forest are pushing hard to sign Douglas Luiz. The English side wants to sign him on loan with an obligation to buy, which could become an obligation with an option to buy that could become an obligation under certain conditions. I tell you, the first condition of Comoli is 40 million euro. We would even be open for an option to buy at easy condition that becomes an obligation, but 40 is 40. Show me the Dougie, and then you can have him. Otherwise, no. So let's see. But calciomercato, we hear it now. Nottingham Forest on Douglas Luiz, Nico González, Atlético Madrid. There are some people that are hoping that Molina will be for Juve in a swap kind of deal. We heard about an acceleration for Kolo Muani, for Kolo Muani. So attenzione. Mamma mia, but Thomas, I don't know what you want, guys. Nothing happened. Let me enjoy Mercato, Thomas. It's like 1 month, no, 2 months, 2 months that I'm going crazy. There is nothing to say. People that were saying, Beppe, you are neglecting the channel. You are not going live. You don't come, Beppe. Where are you? We need our adrenaline, our doses of Beppino. Where are you? I said, guys, there is nothing to say. What do you want me to say? For one time, there is something to say. Let me go crazy. Thomas Pecorelli, let me go crazy. It's the moment. I need to justify as well my scream so that my wife, that doesn't understand English, that has absolutely no idea about what's going on in Juve, she believes that something crazy is happening, and then she says, "Oh, you did well to do a live in the middle of the day." Otherwise, she goes crazy, because if I do it just for the sake of doing, she's not happy. Grandissimo Thomas. Attenzione. I said attenzione. I believe this Mercato, I said it like 3 times. You remember? It was a bit more, we were a bit more active with the attenzione a summer ago. We have new people, like MTOGN. Where are you from? I'm Italian, living and raised in Belgium. But I'm a Juventino of the world, like you now, my friend. Look at that, attenzione. And then you see that. I know. We didn't increase. 39,246. I was thinking like it would have increased. No. C'est comme ça. It is what it is. Yeah, I try. You need to pay attention. I need to shave them, by the way. It's true. I nearly forgot how to say. Where is McFly? McFly is... It's hot wave, heat wave here in Belgium. Heat wave here in Belgium. So I don't know. He finds the coldest spot of the house and he's laying there. Yeah. Oh, I think if you're... Oh, seriously now. Seriously. If you're able to cash in for Nico, for Dougie, even for Wea, that we already did, I think that I would do a statue of Comoli. I would do a statue of Comoli. I would not go with a really beautiful statue of Comoli at the moment. I would go with a Ronaldo first version statue at the moment. Then we will see if we will upgrade it to a really beautiful one. But the support, I agree with you, GSM, but yesterday the supporters, they decided otherwise. Luckily, Saturday there is Atalanta Juve. By the way, I really wanted to say thank you to all the people that yesterday joined the watch-along. Guys, be there. You know that it's a lot of fun when we are doing it together. Because yesterday, I think that we did the biggest live in terms of... total viewers, people coming in, people coming out, in and out. It was not the biggest peak. We already had more peak. I think that one day we reached 2,000 live. But I mean, in terms of total views, I think we went to 32,000 viewers. And that's, I believe, a record for the live. So thank you for that. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. I saw also your pictures with 2 thumbs up. Bravo. But I will be super unpopular if we want Kelly to leave, which I would not be against. But first, you need to tell me who we will sign. Because we are creating a problem there. There is nobody, guys. Huh? There is nobody. Thank you to HR722K that just subscribed to our channel as well. Renato Vega. Yeah, but Renato Vega, it's you that is telling me the name of Renato Vega. Kolo is telling me. Niz is telling me. Juventus MS is telling me. But at the moment, no. At the moment, he's not there. If you tell me Renato Vega for Kelly, I would do it. But... Ecco, is there another bomba or no bomba anymore? trying to check if there is another bomba. At the moment, no. So you know what? I will close now and I come back. Now, today is a crazy day. So I try to have also some more inside information from journalists here, journalists there to complete the puzzle. We need to complete the puzzle and then I can come back this evening with a mega super Mercato is Crazy Live. This is the Pepe Show. Ciao a tutti.